Nietzsche's own words. In aphorism number 348 of The Dawn, Nietzsche writes, quote, "One should distinguish well. Whoever still wants to gain the consciousness of power will use any means. He, however, who has it, has become very choosy and noble in his tastes." End quote. It is through the want of power, to want is to lack, that people commit evil deeds. Only the impotent person, Nietzsche writes in The Dawn, 371, quote, "wishes to hurt and see signs of suffering," end quote. Oftentimes, people lash out and hurt others simply to gain a consciousness of their own power. In Nietzsche's view, true malevolence is actually rather rare. People hurt not for the aim of hurting, but to enjoy the power of hurting. A person who is secure in himself and in his own character would not need to create suffering, because the truly powerful have no need to demonstrate their power. To the extent that a powerful person does hurt others, Nietzsche says that he does this, quote, "without thinking of it," end quote. Power ennobles the mind. Nietzsche thinks a person is actually improved when they are liberated from the trivial concerns and menial tasks. Kaufman gives an example of how a noble-minded person might cause suffering without thinking of it in his book, Nietzsche, Philosopher, Psychologist, Antichrist, page 193. Quote, "A good illustration would be Goethe, whose loves Nietzsche probably had to learn by heart, like most other German students. Goethe, as German teachers like to point out, broke Friederike's heart by lavishing his love upon her and then not marrying her. Here is one of the seeds of the Gretchen tragedy. Goethe, however, had no thought of seeing the poor girl suffer. Only the weak need to convince themselves and others of their might by inflicting hurt. The truly powerful are not concerned with others, but act out of a fullness and an overflow." End quote. Quote.
See, like that's the idea that I had. It's that. So something that I noticed, funny enough, bro, is that like you be researching all this shit, bro, and I be having these thoughts, and then you just know like the in depth of those thoughts, like you know, like all the stuff. And I was just like, damn, what the fuck? Bro, I was like everything's like that shit.
Nietzsche correlated power with qualities like truthfulness, restraint, and discipline. Power is first and foremost a form of self-mastery, and it was the nobility of past ages who were first educated and brought up through a course of mental discipline. He correlated weakness, meanwhile, with impulsive behavior, resentment, and self-hatred. We should take note that Nietzsche has therefore associated conventionally moral traits with strength and conventionally immoral traits with weakness. There is an argument to be made that he's doing this intentionally, as an attack on the Christian morality. Christianity idealizes martyrdom, claims, "Blessed are the poor in spirit," and "the meek shall inherit the earth." One aspect of the Nietzschean critique of Christianity is that the Christian appraisal of weakness is backward. That said, Nietzsche is not out to define power as good because it leads to conventionally good traits of character. On the contrary, Nietzsche is revealing to us that the conditions we think lead to our ideas of goodness are often flawed and tautological. While we think that suffering is good for the soul, or that humility brings character, Nietzsche writes, on the contrary, in The Dawn, number 571, quote, "Medical kit of the soul. What is the strongest healing application? Victory." End quote. Kaufman's commentary on this passage is as follows, quote, This is not a